So now where does that leave Usyk, Eddie, and his contract status, and all that?
He has no contract with anyone at the moment, so he's sitting there waiting for an undisputed fight in the Middle East, of which I think is stated to happen in spring of next year. I believe Saudi wanted to make that fight happen for December, so that was when Fury was supposed to be fighting December. But then Usyk wasn't ready. Obviously, and this is another thing with AJ. Like, it's all very well Tyson Fury saying, "Well, how can you not be ready? You just had a 12-round fight that wasn't really that tough." And like AJ had an 11-month camp really for that fight. And Usyk had a tough camp. Obviously the problems in Ukraine, and it was a tough fight for Usyk and AJ. So it's not just a case of, oh, okay, what was it, 8 or 9 weeks time, go back in and fight, for the world heavyweight title again. Like, they're going to need their time. AJ would be ready for December. Usyk wouldn't. So I guess he's just sitting there waiting right now on the undisputed fight, which should take place in the spring, I believe. Which could be Anthony Joshua against Oleksandr Usyk.
Could be 3. Yeah. So he's no longer under contract. Obviously, you guys are going to go ahead and approach him and try to reach some sort of deal, right?
Yeah, I think we've had a great run. I can't remember how many fights it is we've done together. 7 fights or 6 fights. Made him a huge amount of money, and he's been brilliant. I think this deal coming up with the Saudis, if that happens with undisputed, they, in the last fight, they controlled the rights for that fight. And if they do that again, it's quite difficult to bring value outside of almost just representing you, if that makes sense. So he's in a good position. Alex Krasuk, Egis Klimas, good team of people around him. So I'm sure he'll wait and rest with his family and see what's next.
In terms of what's next, say the fight between Joshua and Fury happens in December, and Usyk sort of waits, and maybe he has to take a fight in the meantime just to stay active. Who would that be, you feel?
I don't know. I don't think he would, Marcus. I think that a lot of those guys, I don't see Usyk as someone who's going to go on for another 5 years fighting every challenger in the division. Like, he was the undisputed cruiserweight world champion. He's the unified world heavyweight champion. If he fights for the undisputed and wins, he's the undisputed heavyweight world champion. And I think he's also no spring chicken. So I maybe only see him. I'm only speaking as a fan. Haven't had these conversations with him, but I don't think he fights much beyond that undisputed fight if he wins, because he's kind of completed boxing. I don't think the problem is once you've earned that kind of level of money, how do you drop back to virtually, a small percent of that money to take on a mandatory or to take on a young, hungry, voluntary defence when you don't really need to, So I think he'll sit and wait. I do, he's in no rush after that fight. I'm sure he's going to spend time with his family now and see what happens in his homeland. But I think he'll wait.